Black Americans are delineating and people are upset about it. Like, everybody mad about it. And by the way, you can thank the black grassroots media for that. Because people think this is something new. This is something that has been going on. But it's crazy how in the last, I would say the last 2 years, it hasn't even honestly been a long time. But because of the events that are happening in the world, it's being publicized and promoted and spread like wildfire. So now black people from young to old are talking about delineation. Like, it has become a talking point, and it was not a thing. I mean, it's been a thing, but what I mean is it was not popular. And I just saw today, ABC News referred to Black History Month, and they actually said foundational Black Americans. So delineation is becoming a mainstream talking point. So that's evidence number one, because in order for Israel to turn away and for God to come and collect his people to, for the second Exodus, all of that, this has to happen. This is something that has to happen. Now, what other group is coming to knowledge of who they are in a way to where it changes everything for that group for the better? Okay? Now, Black Americans have not yet seen any political gain, and we're probably not in this system, because the idea is to keep us from knowing who we are. That's why our history was erased. That's why they're doing the things that they're doing now. And one thing that Pastor Darby said about black people and what we should try to understand, even though it is hard to understand, is that our trouble is what identifies us. When God comes to redeem his people, Israel ain't at the top. So if those who say they are at the top, they let you know they're not the right people. Like, that on its own. Look at how the scriptures describe Israel, the children of Israel, the tribes of Israel. The Bible also in Revelation lets us know that those who say they are not. You ever wonder why preachers don't preach from Revelation other than end times? Like, they never tell you this part. And that's why I don't believe in seminary, because y'all are just going there being told what to preach and being told what it means from a Western, from a racist point of view. And so you got to throw it all away, in my opinion. And you got to figure it out for yourself. And that's what the Holy Spirit is for. We all have access to it. We don't have to go to a seminary. So that's one thing. That's one piece of evidence. But also within this delineation, this line is being drawn. Because you got to think about it. Black people have been, like, I was teaching my son a Black history lesson the other day, and we were specifically talking about Martin Luther King, and I was trying to help them understand why we honor him. And it's been, this is something that I have avoided. I've tried to kind of go around it, but if we're studying Black history and we're studying these figures, my children got to have the proper context. So I was explaining to them, and I had to tell them the spiritual first. So the things that I'm saying now, they're going to start with it. They're not going to have to be like me, and I was, 34, 35 at the time, maybe 33, learning it about those things. They're going to get that from the start. But I was talking to my son about Martin Luther King and his role in civil rights and what civil rights are and why black people even needed somebody to fight for them in the first place. And now he a little throwed off, my 8-year-old. Like, he like a 45-year-old man, probably 50, 60-year-old man in an 8-year-old body. I told him the Martin Luther King speech was given the same year my mom was born. Actually, a few days before she was born. And he was like, and black people still fight now? And it was like a simple thing, but I was like, yeah, you got more sense than the rest of these people do. Like, we're still fighting for things that we've always been fighting for. And so that's one conversation to have from a political standpoint and why. But also, this is spiritual. Because says who? And that was kind of my thing. Like, that was my thing, which is why I said this could have went another way for me. Because I'm like, why are we still fighting for it? And that's where some of my anger came from God. Like, you made me in this skin. I didn't choose to be black. I love being black, but I don't love this oppression. I don't love the racism. I don't love the trauma. I don't love the sadness. I don't love having to explain this to my kids. I don't love worrying about them. I didn't like the fact that I cried when I found out I was pregnant with a boy, because I'm like, oh my God, a black man, what is he gonna deal with? I felt guilty. Like, I don't like none of that. Why, God? Why? And so studying, if you study from the perspective that we are Israel, then it starts to make a little bit more sense. It's still a mind freak, because it's like, dang, we didn't do nothing to receive this judgment and this punishment. But it's like, dang, if the key is learning who you really are, and turning from doing sin and worshiping idols and living in this system trying to take on the customs of these people, if that's all I got to do to get my inheritance, sign me up. And so that's one aspect of this, that we're not going to see what we need to see for black folks from a political, like, it's not going to happen. And so while I do support reparations and I do believe in reparations, I want my reparations. I am 10 toes down, gonna always stand for someone who supports that, because it is a debt that's owed to the descendants of American slavery. However, the thing that gets it for me is like, what, it's nothing wrong with fighting for that, but also, like, there's something bigger here. And that's the part where, like, the non-religious radical black thinkers, they don't really, like, they don't get into that. And I get it. Malcolm X said, the minute you bring up religion, that's when you have division. So let's just, like, leave the religion out of it and focus on the debt and focus on justice. So that's why I support reparations. But aside from that, I'm not looking to any politician to save me or to even save my community. What I'm praying for is that we continue to wake up and know who we really are, and that the people who are against us get out the way. It's a lot of black people that don't even believe that we are the children of Israel. And how tragic is that? Because if it's not us, who else could it be? So I think the delineation is an indicator that Israel is waking up and preparing to turn away, because you have a lot of folks, say what you want about the Hebrew Israelites, it's probably a cult. They do things that I don't agree with. I could never be a Hebrew Israelite. I have my issues with it. But I can see how people go that route when you come into certain information. So I don't judge them. I mean, we live in America. Being black in America, it's enough to drive you crazy with everything that we have to deal with from birth, even in the womb, from black maternal health and all of that. But so I don't judge them. Like, who wouldn't go that route if they, were impressionable or wanted community or whatever, wanted to feel belonging. So I don't judge them. I forgot why I even brought them up. But basically, I'm saying that I believe that is some evidence. But also within that, you see a lot of black Christians leaving Christians, black believers, leaving black Greek letter organizations because of the idol worship. You got some people that are still resisting it. And I'm not going to get into all of that because it's a touchy subject. But you see that happening. You see a lot of black folks trying to, learn about their history beyond what we were taught in school, beyond slavery. You see a lot of black people trying to follow more of, the laws from Deuteronomy and things like that. So that is one piece of evidence. Also, I think that these things, like, you have the delineation, you have black politics and the divide that's happening. You have people that are just not willing to bow down to these politicians and to the government. And that's causing a divide by the people who want to maintain the status quo. And I don't think that divide is bad. I believe it needs to happen for true change to come. And you see what's happening. Like the fact that FBA was mentioned in or a news report around foundational Black Americans was published by ABC. That tells you a lot about the change that's happening. thanks to the black grassroots media, not any black politicians who are only doing what their donors allow them to do. So people are just coming from under the political deception. But at the same time, you see the issues with Israel escalate. When Charlie Kirk was assassinated, then a lot of black folks started talking about the very things I was outcast for saying. Now they're finally admitting, yeah, we do feel a little racism in the church. And this is showing it now y'all being racist because Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and now y'all are saying this and saying that, and how did black people get in? So those true colors came out because it was someone that they loved versus it being a black person getting shot on national TV for everyone to see. We see that curse turning, whether or not the assassination of Charlie Kirk was staged, fake, whatever you want to call it, it still produced results. Results meaning it produced a change in the environment, the political environment, racial environment, all of that, because of what Charlie Kirk was known to talk about. So you have that, and people finally admitting that these mixed race churches are just more oppression with a happy face and Jesus in the middle of it. Also, you're seeing these things, especially with the Epstein files coming out. Now people are beginning to make those biblical connections that so many folks have sacrificed their lives for exposing, such as, you know, pedophilia, the ancient gods, satanic rituals, blood sacrifices. Now people are realizing that that stuff is real. So I believe that those things, along with many others, the weather, even though we know weather is modified, but just the fact that the government is overreaching so much, the rise of AI, robots, mandatory digital IDs, there's been conversation about microchips to work and to have access to things, and just stuff. You're like, what are we, like, what? You know, we're seeing objects in space and the way that the sun is behaving and the moon. And it's just a lot of signs are there. The wars, the rumors of wars. And all of that is kind of bringing me to my other point of where we fall in this, or like our role in this, or what do we do while these things are in play. It makes me feel a lot of emotions for a lot of different reasons. Thank you for watching this video clip. Click the link in the description box to watch the full video, and be sure to subscribe for more.